Okay, so in case of virtual machine skill set, we discussed about like multiple VM. We are able to create up to 1000 VMs on single click. And if we talk about the options that we have, like as the features of virtual machine skill set, we are able to create multiple VM. We have option to configure auto scaling. Load balancer option also available in the properties of VMSS. Easy to configure virtual machines, and VMSS can help to manage web servers or any applications. So guys, these all are the features which are available in our virtual machine skill set. As a Azure administrator, it's our responsibility. We should know about the concept. We should know about the procedure to implement the VMSS services in our for organization. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the proper practical how we can establish the virtual machine skill set. We'll discuss about the multiple VM creation, auto scaling, load balancer, and we'll configure the virtual machines. Those virtual machines are available in the part of our skill set. So for this particular practical, back to the Azure portal. In the Azure portal, we just need to click more services. As we know that the VM management or virtual machines management part of compute services. So just need to click on compute. It will provide you multiple options like virtual machines management, virtual machine skill set, app services, right? Availability set that we have already discussed. Click virtual machine skill set and it will give you the option to configure multiple VM. So how we can start it? Click create virtual machine skill set. Okay, more services, we just need to click on our compute service. Under the compute, we just need to click our virtual machine skill set. We don't have any virtual machine skill set. Click create. It will redirect you on page of configuration of virtual machine skill set, and we are able to find n number of options that we need to follow: basic, spot, disk, networking, scaling, management, health, advanced, tag, review, and create. So I'm going to proceed with basic information. In the basic information, you need to provide the details of our subscription. Select resource group. I wanted to put entire resources in AVD class. Type the name of your VMSS. So I wanted to create a virtual machine skill set with name of class VMSS. Availability zone, I don't want to create any kind of failover, so that's why I'm going to proceed without any availability zone. Central US is our location where we want to put our virtual machine skill set. We have a workstation. So workstation is a type of service that can help us. Workstation is a type of service that can help us to manage our virtual machine under the cluster. So we have a two different way to set up our virtual machine, like as the uniform, and second option is related to the flexible. I'm going to proceed with uniform and select the types of operating system that you wanted to create. But before that, you should know about the security type. So security type categorized into different part. One is standard and another is trusted VM launch. So everyone, I hope you all of you are aware about the types of BIOS that we have. So anyone, can you please help me to understand about how many types of BIOS are available? Anyone want to say something about the types of BIOS? There are two different types of BIOS available. One is legacy BIOS, which is considered as your old BIOS, and another is UEFI BIOS. So basically, UEFI BIOS can help us to protect our VM on login time. Means it will give you the option to protect our machine from login. So if you want to protect your virtual machine from booting process, you just need to proceed with trusted launch virtual machine. If you don't want to proceed with, if you want to proceed with legacy BIOS, then proceed with the standard. But in case of trusted launch virtual machine, you have to pay additional amount. So I don't want to proceed with that. Proceed with the standard. Instance type. Operating system. I wanted to provide the information about operating system type. Server 2016 data center. This is the configuration of our virtual machine. Means 2 core of processor, 4 gig of RAM. So I wanted to proceed with same configuration. Provide username and password. The username and password will applicable for entire virtual machine that you will create under the VMSS. So no need to do anything. Click next. We are able to find a spot instance. So spot instance is basically a method that can help us to create our virtual machine, and means it will give you the high discount in case of a spot instance. If you want to proceed with the spot, it will give you the uh, kind of discount. So I don't want to proceed with spot instance. Click next. This is another point where we can provide the details related to our storage. So I wanted to set up our virtual machine using the premium SSD. The meaning of premium SSD, it will give you the high data transaction speed. Means the IOPS of our premium SSD is better than another storage type. So that's why I wanted to proceed with premium SSD. Next. This is another point, networking, which is really important for us. We must need to know about the usage of networking. Under the networking, we are able to find the NIC card, about the class VNet. It's a type of class VNet that we will discuss in next module. So what you need to do, just need to click on edit option. In the edit option, you must need to allow port number 3389. It's mandatory. You must need to allow port number 3389. It's a type of NSG. And one more point, you need to activate public IP address must be enabled. You should enable the public IP address access. Click OK. Another point, after disk, after networking, we have option of manage scaling. So scaling is a basically auto scaling. So the usage of auto scaling is correlated to provide you security related to the virtual machine is call set. So if you want to increase the failover, we must need to configure the auto scaling. So it's really important for every administrator. Means you should know about the actual usage of our virtual machine is call set. So under this call set, we are on page of auto scaling, where we can provide the number of instance that you want to create. In the cluster, initial, how many instance you wanted to create, how many virtual machines you wanted to create with your VMSS service. Second point is auto scaling and manual scaling. We have a two different way to establish our scaling service. One is manual scaling and another is auto scaling. The usage of auto scaling can help you to manage our virtual machines under the cluster. Like as we are able to find initial instance 3, minimum instance 1, maximum instance 10, CPU threshold. If we talk about the CPU threshold, scale out 75%, duration 10 minutes, number of instance increased by scale in CPU threshold 25%, number of instances to decrease by 1, This is the information about our scaling service. So let me help you to understand about the concept of auto scaling first. Configure auto scaling on Azure portal. So it's our responsibility. We should know about the concept of auto scaling. So let me help you to understand from very basic. Sorry. So basically, auto scaling categorized in two different parts. One is related to vertical scaling and another is horizontal scaling. So basically, the auto scaling categorized in two different parts. One is vertical scaling and another is horizontal scaling. The meaning of vertical scaling, for example, we have a one virtual machine. This is our VM. Okay. So, for example, the virtual machine's configuration that you established, two core processor and 4 gig of RAM, okay, and 100 gig of HDD. This is the configuration of our Azure virtual machine. In case of vertical scaling, think about it. In case of vertical scaling, you don't want to add any additional virtual machine. Whenever we make a changes with our configuration, this is the old configuration, of virtual machine, and you wanted to change same virtual machine configuration. In case of new configuration, you wanted to add increase 4 core 2 core processor, you wanted to convert into 4 core, 4 gig of RAM you wanted to increase into 6 gig of RAM, and 100 gig of storage you wanted to make it 500 gig, right? So whenever we make a changes with existing configuration of any computer, existing configuration of any virtual machine, consider as a vertical scaling. Everyone please confirm if you're able to understand about the vertical scaling concept of vertical scaling. Is that okay? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the vertical scaling, and let's talk about horizontal scaling. So basically, the usage of horizontal scaling, for example, we establish one virtual machine with configuration of same 2 core of processor, 4 gig of RAM, okay, and up to 100 gig of storage. This is the configuration, and the meaning of horizontal scaling is basically related to the if the CPU usage is high, right? If the CPU usage is high, like in the same computer, you are getting up to 90% plus CPU usage. The optimization of our CPU is more than 90%. It means that your virtual machine is getting lots of load. Then horizontal scaling, what we need to do, what exactly happened with horizontal scaling? In case of horizontal scaling, Azure horizontal scaling will add one more virtual machine in same cluster. If the CPU usage of our individual machine is high than 90%, it will connect one more virtual machine. It will create one more virtual machine with same configuration. If the both combination of both virtual machines CPU optimization is more than 80%, 90%, then it will add one more virtual machine with same configuration. Means the horizontal scaling can help us to balance the load by adding new virtual machine in same cluster. But the vertical scaling is related to the, it will change the configuration. You need to change the configuration in our existing virtual machine. This is the actual gap between vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Is that clear, guys? Please confirm if you're able to understand about the gap between horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
So actually our VMSS, if we talk about the VMSS, so basically VMSS usage horizontal scaling. VMSS support horizontal scaling. How it works? Let me help you to understand about the practical usage of horizontal scaling in virtual machine scale set. In the virtual machine scale set, auto scaling contain lots of options. Initial instance count, scale policy, auto scaling, maximum number of instance, minimum number of instance, and scale out and scale in. So this is the concept of horizontal scaling. Initial instance count. The meaning of instance count is related to the virtual machine. Second, minimum number of instance means number of VM. We have a maximum number of instance. We are able to find scale out. Under the scale out, we are able to find the option related to the CPU threshold, duration, CPU threshold, second duration, number of instance increase. This is scale out. Let's talk about scale in. The meaning of scale in is basically related to the same CPU threshold, and number of instance decrease. Number of instance decrease. So let me help you to understand about the concept of these points. For example, you proceeded 3 instance in initial instance. You wanted to create this is our cluster basically. And you wanted to set up 3 instances in starting time. Let's talk about number of instance. Minimum number of instance, we decided 1. Maximum number of instance, we decided 10. It means that if the CPU optimization scale in is down, if the CPU optimization is less than 25%, then what happen? It will delete one virtual machine from cluster. The meaning of number of instance, if the usage of CPU optimization of two different instances less than 25%, then it will delete the instances from cluster. So maximum one instance will be available once entire virtual machines deleted from the cluster. Maximum number of instance, if the CPU threshold more than 75%, if the CPU optimization is more than 75% for till 5 minutes, then what exactly happen? It will add one virtual machine in cluster. If the CPU optimization is more than 75%, then it will add one more VM. Okay, if the scale out come into the picture. If scale in come into the picture, then it will remove the instance. Remove VM in, scale in. Add VM in, scale out. Is that okay, guys? Because it's really important for us. We must need to know about the concept of these points, which is really important for us. We must need to know about the concept. Is that okay? Hello. Everyone, please reply if you're able to hear me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to show you the practical. This is the concept of our auto scaling, but we need to know about the procedure to configure our auto scaling. So I'm not going to make any changes. 3 virtual machine. Maximum number of instance 10, minimum number of instance 1, and 75% CPU optimization high. This is the high configuration. Means if the CPU uses more than 75%, if the CPU uses more than 75%, then it will increase one instance in our cluster. Means it became 4, 3 converted to the 4 virtual machine instance. The CPU optimization is less than 25%. Okay, the CPU optimization is less than 25%. It means that no usage of our virtual machine. If your CPU optimization is less than 25%, it means that no usage of our cluster. So it will be remove one instance, decrease by one. I'm not going to make any changes in the cluster. Click next, next, and what we need to do, review and create. So we successfully proceeded for 3 instances in a cluster, and with the auto scaling. If the CPU optimization, if the CPU usage less than 25%, okay, if the CPU usage less than 25%, if the CPU usage less than 25%, then it will delete one instance from cluster. So we successfully proceeded. It will take up to 3 to 4 minute time. So once our VMSS is ready to use, we'll proceed for the next step. So it is in progress. We must need to wait. Now our VMSS is ready to use. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open our virtual machine scale set. This is our VMSS under the VMSS class VMSS that we created. And in VMSS, we are able to find instances, right? So how many instances we proceeded? We proceeded for 3 instances, means we proceeded for 3 virtual machines, right? We are able to get a class 0, class 1, class 3. So this, sorry, class 2. So 3 different instances are available in same cluster. But you know that if any issues occurred, right? If any problem occurred, if the CPU optimization is less than 25% of combination of these 3 different instances, if the CPU optimization is less than 25%, then what exactly happen? We will lose the instances. Means it will automatically remove the instance from the cluster. So let me take the RDP first, and after that we'll check the monitor. We'll monitor the CPU usage of our virtual machines. To take the RDP, same procedure. You just need to open virtual machines properties, click connect, and it will redirect you on page of download RDP. Once you download the RDP, it will give you the access of. You need to provide the user ID and password. Connect your virtual machines RDP. I'm going to connect with all the instances to uh, check how it works. Instance 1 we successfully connected. Let's connect instance 2. Download RDP. Provide username and password. We successfully added 2 different instances, right? We successfully connected 2 different instances. So our responsibility to verify how virtual machine scale set and auto scaling can work with our instances, work with our virtual machines. So now we successfully connected 2 instances, but we just need to monitor the usage of CPU. So to check the optimization of CPU, just need to click overview, and in overview need to click on monitoring. In the monitoring panel, the CPU consumption is 37%, and the threshold that we decided just 25%. So we must need to wait. Because once you start your virtual machine, definitely it will consume lots of means entire file and folder will be active once you connect your virtual machine. So we must need to wait for 5 minutes, and if the CPU consumption is less than 25%, then it will remove the instances from cluster. So to check the practical, we must need to wait. Now CPU optimization is 34%, means we must need to wait. Okay, the CPU optimization is less than 70%, right? See, less than 17%. The threshold that we decided 25%. So I think we lost few virtual machines, 70%, 17%, and see, two instances automatically removed from cluster only because of the usage of CPU is less than 25%. So it means that the scale in policy can work, and it will remove the instances from our cluster. This is the actual usage of virtual machine scale set. Everyone, please confirm if you're able to understand about the usage of VMSS and the usage of auto scaling service. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So this is the concept of virtual machine scale set, and our responsibility to understand about the implementation of load balancers. So to manage the load balancer, what you need to do, I'm going to remove the VMSS, right? I'm going to remove the VMSS, and after that we'll create our VMSS including with load balancer service.